Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the ARNECC Paper Talks 2.0 Net Zero series. So, my name is Indira, and I will be the host for this 40 minutes webinar. So, before I begin, I would like to introduce what is ARNECC Paper Talks. ARNECC Paper Talks is a part of ACCEPT, or the ASEAN Climate Change and Energy Project, the first integrated project on energy and climate change that aims to improve the governance between the energy and climate policies. In this first episode of ARNECC Paper Talks, we would like to explore and dig deeper on the Indonesia's new strategy to achieve net zero emissions in 2060. So, as ARNECC Paper Talks is an initiative by ASEAN Researchers Network on Energy and Climate Change, we empower you to register yourself as one of the climate and energy researchers in ASEAN countries. Before I begin the session, let me please introduce Mr. Harun Ardiansyah, our panelist for today. Mr. Harun is a PhD student at University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign. Along the years, he has involved in some projects related to energy reactor, high-performance computing, analysis, and method development. Aside his outstanding academic achievement, he is also involved in energy policy activism in Indonesia. Currently, he is building Siwabesi Initiative, an energy think tank, together with his partners. And today, he will be presenting one of his publications about Indonesia post-pandemic outlook, strategy towards net zero emissions by 2060 from the renewables and carbon neutral energy perspectives. And today I would like to welcome Mas Harun. Hi, Mas Harun.
Hello, good morning, everybody.
Good morning. Are you ready to present your findings?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, the time is yours.
All right. Thank you very much, Ms. Pratnyaswari and the team from ASEAN Center for Energy. Good evening, everybody. Greetings from Urbana and United States. My name is Harun Ardiansyah. As mentioned before, I am a PhD student in Nuclear Engineering Department at University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign. But along the years, I also gained some interest on energy policy and energy economics. Though I'm not the experts of it, but I'm eager to learn. And one of the great opportunity that I got in the past is when I joined PPI Dunia, Indonesian Students Organization, for Indonesia's overseas student. And at the time, I was the Chief Energy Commission, chair of the Energy Commission, where I oversee 10 students from PPI Dunia to held some research regarding energy situation in Indonesia, especially at the time when it was a post-COVID era. And this is one of our biggest, I should say, biggest achievement that we have, which we published a book entitled Strategy Towards Net Zero Emission by 2060 from Renewable and Carbon Neutral Energy Perspective. So it actually... Yes?
Actually, you can please swap the displays.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. So actually, when we start discussing about what are we gonna talk about, and when we are about to publish something, when in PPI Dunia, we thought more like what is how is actually Indonesia doing right now. Especially, we heard at the time there are a lot of talks and a lot of regarding net zero emission targets in Indonesia, especially at the time the hype of COP26 in Glasgow is arising. So we kind of thought like, well, how is actually Indonesia's net zero emission targets going at the time? And can we do something about it? Because us at the time, students who have some experience abroad saw what other countries are doing. I personally from United States studying in in the United States. I have some perspective from what the United States have been doing. Some of my peers are from France, from Australia, from Germany. They own have their own experience on like what are those countries doing related to net zero emission target, and we want to share the perspective and probably come up with something that might be useful for Indonesia. So it starts from this simple question: how is Indonesia's net zero emission targets going now, and can we do something about it? And when we review some of the things that have been done in the past, we come up with the realization that national energy policy in Indonesia has been something that has been a long coming. So based on our observation, the first national energy policy came up in 1981. When it's called General Policy on Energy #1, and then it continues up until the quote unquote the newest ratified regulation is in the Presidential Regulation number 22 of 2017, which is General National Energy Plan, or Rencana Umum Energi Nasional in 2017. And now there has been some talks on a new and renewable energy bill, which I believe it should be still as a draft. I'm not sure whether it has been ratified by the DPR and the Indonesian government, but during our review, it's still on the draft process and everything are still finalized. So national energy policy is not something new, and thus we have some insights on what is actually Indonesia's targeting at the time. So where are we at? So the first thing that we come up is during COP26, the government of Indonesia pledged to reduce carbon emissions and prepare a long-term strategy that defines the pathway to achieve low carbon emission by 2050. Those 2050 target has been the target for lots of countries, including some countries overseas. And this has been ratified by many countries, and especially for Indonesia, they have some energy targets, especially on the deployment of new and renewable energy. They have like 2025, 2030, 40, 50, and 60. Eventually, we as Indonesian are planning to have 100% new and renewable energy in our energy mix by 2060. However, this is one more thing is one of the plan that the Indonesian government has is having a commercial operation date for Indonesia's first nuclear power plant by 2045. I should say, however, that even though these are targets that had been defined not only before COP26, but it has been ratified through the regulation, we don't think it's enough. As in the deployment itself, we thought it's not massive enough. We can see it's part of in our book that we see that up until 2020 by the COVID are still in the rise. The renewable energy in our energy mix is still below 20%, even though that has been 2020, and we at the time we have 5 more years to get into 23%, and now it's like 2 years from now we should achieve this. I mean, there's no consequence, quote unquote, there's no consequence on it other than we don't achieve this target. Like it is the target that we set ourselves, so it will be just a pity, I should say, that if we cannot achieve this. And some of the things that are planned by the government is also included when based on the Bappenas vision that has been defined in by the National Energy Council of Indonesia in the table on the bottom right. I would like to focus more on the power plant side, that when it goes to business as usual, BAU, we go to the PLN's RUPTL, I forgot, Rancangan Umum pembangunan tenaga listrik, but we want to do more, and they have planned to do more by having some RUN and also some other plan in the RK, means rendah carbon or lower carbon plan. So they include like switching 30% of capacity of steam power plant or coal power plant into biomass, and using 30% of luxury houses using rooftop solar. This is what we currently have. It's not like the most detailed explanation of it. There are a lot of new things that are come out after this publications. So we are still we are also looking up on that. And also at the time when we made this publication in 2020 2021, we thought that Indonesia's energy transition has several challenges. The first one is COVID disruption. At the time, COVID basically almost shut down everything, every single thing, including energy transition. And we are actually right now are in the rise, in the good path to rise our energy transition level. And also another thing that we are concerned that Indonesia is very coal heavy country. So the coal impact and industry's reliance on coal is very discerning for us at the time. This is actually part of the things that we want to touch upon, like how we can decarbonize industry. There should be a lot of efforts to do decarbonization in our industrial processes. And also another thing that we are concerned at the time are about energy security versus energy transition, because we can see that in some countries, when they rely heavily on energy transition, sometimes their energy security is compromised. So they are more probably dependent on some other countries that they're not, and even though some dependency in a good way, in a symbiotic dependency is good for a country, but having too much reliance to other countries is not good. So we need to be careful on that. Like we have to be careful on doing energy transition such that we don't really scrutinize our energy security. And one last challenges that we saw during the observation is like there are the regulation and financing of energy transition is pretty vague. We know that at the time there might be some information about regulation and financing of energy transition, but the thing about energy transition is this is not like a front and center topic. So it's just a second level or even the third level topic that always be discussed. So energy transition is not a front and center topic to discuss. These are the several challenges. And then, however, at the time, we also do some technological potential review that in our publication, we refer to these 7 types of energies into like carbon-free and renewable energy. We want to redefine the term new and renewable energy because in our observation, this term new and renewable energy that has been proposed like for several years is actually quite vague, because the term new energy actually includes something that are derivative of some oil-based or carbon-based energy. So we don't think at the time this term new and renewable energy is appropriate to be implemented. Thus, we offer some new definition called carbon-free and renewable energy, and this includes solar energy, hydropower, wind energy, biomass, geothermal, and nuclear energy, and also hydrogen as a carrier, not as a producer, but a carrier. We identified that Indonesia has a lot of potential in these areas, and the challenges that we found is that it's not only technological challenges to implementing this potential, but also in regulation challenges. There is not a clear regulation on how to do things in terms of this energy and how to expand it massively. Then what we propose in our publication is we need to strengthen and adapt new strategies. Those strategies including investing in new carbon capture and offset technologies to deal with those downcoming coal that will be laid off by some time, and also developing policies to incentivize low carbon industries, enforcing carbon taxes for manufacturing sector that includes low carbon policies in their manufacturing processes. Simplifying investment, this and bureaucracy on renewable energy project. This has been some of the things that I personally saw when I look at some investments on renewable energy in the United States, that the investment from private sector is actually quite massive in the United States, even though this is not truly like we can mirror this in Indonesia. I think we can set some examples from those, like how we can have a private public-private partnership for those investments, and also regulating costs. Indonesia is a market center. What is it? Yeah, Indonesia has like one centralized electricity grid, which is held by one company, and also state-owned company. So regulating cost is very doable. Regulating cost between conventional and renewable energy. It also can maintain effectiveness. This might mean subsidizing in some parts, or giving some incentives in some parts. Another thing that we kind of miss, we as like a community of researchers, is having a public education on importance of energy transition and carbon offset activities. As I said earlier, this might have some impact because regulations on energy transition, energy security is not something that is forthcoming. That these are not a front and center policies. These are like probably second layer or third layer policies. So we know that this is important, at least for us energy researchers, and we need to advocate for it. We must have it as a front and center policy for the leaders to deal with. So this is not just something that we can put aside on, or put some time later on it. This is, we can say that this is immediate, and we need to campaign for it, and it will educate the people on the importance of having a good energy transition plan and policy, and also the implementation of it. One thing that I personally put in the last one is the approve policies. This is for our government, Indonesian government, to approve policies to accommodate and strengthen carbon-free and renewable energy investment. And this is in terms of the law. So we need to have a good, a strict law to help with this strategy, so that we can move forward in a better way to use energy potentials that we have. Specifically in the energy potentials, we have some recommendations on the implementation of carbon-free and renewable energy. Some of them are about the market, like doing investment and market climate. We need to create a healthy investment and market climate for carbon-free and renewable energy, and and also some improvement on standardizations and all the benchmark and all the things that we need to have as a foundation. And then fast deployment of wind energy, biomass, and solar energy, and some improvement on issues of hydropower, either geographic, ecologic, and socioeconomics. These socioeconomics issues are something that we think are need to be given more attentions to, because this transition might not be easy for some communities. So there are some aspects to it that, other than the technical and the policy part, we need to concern also about the socio-economic issues that can come up with this energy transition. Stimulation of hydrogen industry, and also establishment of nuclear energy implementation organization, which will oversee later the development of nuclear energy in Indonesia. So in conclusion, we have to realize that status and challenges of Indonesia to achieve net zero by 2060 actually requires synchronization and multiple stakeholders in Indonesia. That, as I said earlier, that's technical people, law and policy people, and also socioeconomics people that need to be working hand in hand in order to solve these problems on energy transition. Indonesia has a lot of potentials, yet also challenges to implement those carbon-free and renewable energy. Those include solar, hydro, biomass, geothermal, nuclear, and hydrogen. The deployment of carbon-free and renewable energy will impact the socioeconomic aspect of it. So we need to have some things in mind in order to deal with it, because when we in a harshest term displace some people in their indigenous area, they will be impacted socio-economically, and we have to deal with it. And also with things that I've said multiple times earlier, carbon-free and renewable energy should be a forefront policy focus. This is not a second tier or third tier policy that we can catch up later. This should be the forefront policy focus. And thank you. Lastly, I want to acknowledge PPI Dunia and Green Publishing for helping us with the publication of the book Strategy Towards Net Zero Emission by 2060 from renewable and carbon neutral energy perspective. This it's almost a year since we published this book, and this book is available for free in Brin Publishing. Just look up Penerbit Brin and look up the title, and this book will be available for free in open access. If you have more things to discuss, feel free to email me on those emails. And yeah, thank you very much for the attention, and yeah, looking forward for the Q&A. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mas Harun, for this very insightful presentation and new perspectives on Indonesia's journey towards net zero. For every participant who wants to raise a question, please feel free to type your question or raise your hand. So I think we have one question from Mr. Rahman Setiawan. For Mr. Rahman, please unmute your microphone and you are allowed to ask your question.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so first of all, I want to say thank you, Master, for giving a tremendous presentation regarding about the publication. So let me introduce myself. My name is Rachman Setiawan. I am an energy and resources student in UC Berkeley, funded by LPDP scholarship. And yeah, I think that's interesting topic. And also yesterday, we could see that there is a seminar which is conducted by IEASR, and one of them is from LBNL. And my question is, I think it's so similar like my question yesterday. It's about, I think, incentives. So we could see that there are so many incentives during this energy transition process. So my question is about, we talk a lot of things about incentives, but at the same time, we never consider about, I think, like SCC or social carbon cost. I think we can see as well regarding like carbon trading in Indonesia that happened right now. But yeah, I think when we try to give incentives, I think we need income first. So what do you think about this condition? And the second one, it's about hydrogen. I think one of the possibility that we can use during this energy transition is using fuel cell or hydrogen, or like hydrogen powered vehicles, to ensure that we can push not only in like EVs but also in hydrogen. And what do you think about this? Thank you.
Should I answer it directly, or we should wait for another one?
Yes, you may answer directly.
All right. So thank you so very much, Mr. Setiawan, for the questions. So for the first one regarding we talk too much, I think I personally think also, so we talk too much about incentives, even though I think it's very necessary for us to give incentives to all the developers of renewable energies in order for them to grow their industries, because we can say that this renewable energy industry is quite young in Indonesia, especially. It's not like we are in first world country then, where they have a very large deployment of renewable energy, and they can deal with the they can reduce their incentives for the company, so that they will have a competitive market. For us, I personally think incentives are still necessary, but in order for the income for coming in order to offset those incentives, I think the policy on carbon trading for some industries that relies heavily on coal should be reinforced further. I think it is a good opportunity also for those coal-reliant companies to start transitioning on their own, because in some areas in our country, some of the coal-reliant companies are just privately owned, so they have to have their own policy in order to transition from coal-reliant energy to new and renewable energy. But I think even though it's a private entity, we can definitely push them by enforcing some policies like carbon trading or carbon tax. So I understand that this might not be a comprehensive answer. I'm no economist for the first one. I'm an engineer. So in terms of technology, definitely we need to decarbonize our industry. Definitely, we need to also decarbonize our transportation system. This goes to your second question about the use of hydrogen or fuel cell. I definitely support the use of fuel cell on Indonesia. Because there are a lot of in terms of the experts, we have a lot of experts in fuel cell and hydrogen and renewable energy, and how to turn the chemistry on how to turn them into an effective storage. So definitely the main goal, the main idea is we need to decarbonize every single aspect of things that require carbon. The first one is energy, and then also our industries, and then our transportation. These three contributes, I believe, if my please correct me if my numbers are wrong, but probably about 80% of our greenhouse emissions come from these three sectors. So we definitely should decarbonize those three things. Hopefully that answers your question. Yeah, please do if anyone have more questions.
I think that's enough.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Rahmat, for your question. Where actually this condition that Mr. Harun has mentioned before is also aligned as our report findings on the ASEAN Energy Outlook, on the second ASEAN Energy Outlook, which we have published on our website, where the data obtained that the most domination of sector which emit the greenhouse gases is the energy sector, transport sector, and also the agriculture sector. So in alignment of Indonesia's greenhouse gases emissions production from the industries, it will also affect the production of greenhouse gases emissions in ASEAN region. So thank you, Mr. Harun, for your insights. And I would be very happy if anyone else would like to raise another question from the floor. Is there anyone who would like to ask a question? Well, maybe they need some more time, so I would like to raise my question regarding your presentation. So, Mas Harun, I noticed that you have explained about the process of Indonesia's policy regarding to empower and also improve the renewable energy technologies in Indonesia. But in your perspectives, how have been Indonesia evolved over time? Does Indonesia have a significant improvement regarding the policies, especially to achieve their net zero target, or Indonesia still has lack and slow improvement on this sector?
In my opinion, I would say in terms of policy, it has been there has been a lot of improvements in terms of policy, and policy that covers like not only the incentives parts but also the carbon reducing part, like having the carbon trading, carbon tax, and everything, and also incentivizing like new and renewable energy. And also in my case, in my expertise in nuclear energy, there has been some policies that relates to nuclear energy. But the thing is, what I'm really looking forward is the government of Indonesia as a whole, not only the president, the VP, the whole cabinet, the whole thing, like the DPR, the MPR, and all the stakeholders coming together and put this as the forefront issue, their first issue. Because as I understand currently, energy transition is not the main topic of discussion, at least in some big forums. So we need to come together to push our elected officials to talk more about the importance of energy transition, because when we start the talk, people will notice, the citizen will notice, and then we will have a fruitful discussions on that. And from there, we can improve more on what we should do, what we should not do on energy transitions.
Okay, great. Can I have a feedback regarding
Yep.
to your answer? So, since we're talking about Indonesia policy, what is the Indonesia policy that is been regulating until now that has significant impact regarding to the energy sector?
I think the regulation on the deployment of new and renewable energy in what is supposed to be proposed in new and renewable energy bills, they have some improvements on like investments from private sector, and also the private public partnership that are more regulated. And I think that is the most important part that we need to discuss more about the public-private partnerships that has been done in previous years.
Okay, great. So we have another question, Mas, from Nuriza Zarifah Arshanti. So Miss Nuriza, please unmute yourself.
Okay, first of all, my name is Nuriza from Universitas Indonesia. Thank you very much for the presentation, but I have several questions regarding the presentation. So I believe in Indonesia, the private sector plays a crucial role in achieving sustainability goals and new renewable energy deployment. And I want to know, Mr. Harun, in your opinion, what are actually the opportunity for the private sector in contributing to Indonesia net zero emission target, and how can the government and these private sectors in all aspects collaborating to accelerate the transition to renewable energy? That is my question. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much,
Very
Nurisa,
clear.
for the questions. So I think from public-private partnership, definitely we can gain more tractions to it. As far as I understand, the Indonesia's energy market are very centralized. Centralized as in everything is controlled by state-owned companies, as it should be from our constitution says so. However, seeing from other countries and how they can create a good public-private partnerships by having a more decentralized market, I think we should talk more about the effect of having a decentralized energy market. I think in terms of distribution, probably it might be controversial, but in my opinion, in terms of production, definitely we need to decentralize the production of energy. So those in that area, definitely some private companies can join in, and I think it has been implemented, because like there are a lot of private sector that produces electricity or energy in Indonesia through the power purchase agreement by the state-owned companies. But I think more on that, we need to do more sectors, not only for the production side, but also on distribution side. I don't have any numbers to back this up, but what I saw from experiences that I got when I'm in study here in the United States, I saw a very decentralized market in terms of energy market, and I saw some competitiveness in all aspects to it. So I think we probably should start talking about it. Probably we should start thinking like, what are the consequences on like if we have some decentralized energy market, how good or how bad that could be for Indonesia. And from there we can definitely involve the private sector into it. Yep. Hopefully that answers the question. And also probably one more thing is like in some very unique market, for example, like in geothermal or biomass or even nuclear or even hydrogen, these are very niche market, such that if the government didn't push it first, the private sector won't come in. So I think those are also some roles that the government should take, like having the first investment to attract some private investors to deal with it. So definitely in some cases, the involvement of public or the government need to happen to open the market first, and then the private sector can come in to optimize things, to make everything more efficient, and definitely make a healthy market out of it. Yep.
Okay. We have another question from Michael Petalio, please.
Hello?
Yeah,
Can you hear
okay, you can ask.
Okay. Regarding the you call that opening of decentralizing an energy market. I'll be speaking with what I have experienced with my stay when I was in the Philippines. I think thinking about decentralizing should be a big chunk of time because comparing what we have in the Philippines with the current Indonesian market, I think the price of electricity in the Philippines is much more higher with the current state with its decentralized market. So it's not having a decentralized market doesn't mean it will be better, especially for the end users, because having decentralized market means you'll you'll have no control with the price for electricity, especially if in the current state you have most of your base load using fossil fuel. So right, like what happened before during the conflict in Europe and what happened during COVID, the price for coal skyrocket, and as it is now, it's not still at its current level. So there should be enough talk regarding what would be the the system for a decentralized market. For example, if we are to push for a more renewable market, yeah, correct. We need to push for the establishment of the policies for the use of storage systems, of fuel cells. But is it enough to maintain a lower price if we push for a decentralized market? So that's only it's not really a question. Just my take for what will happen if we choose to decentralize everything. That's all. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Patelio. I 100% agree with you. I'm not saying that, I mean, my experience living here in the United States, I mean, the electricity price is uncomparable to what I got when I'm in Indonesia. So I agree with you. Decentralized market is not always good, but I think when we talk about transitioning to new types of energy, we also probably need to think about the strategies in order to fully optimize those things. And probably decentralized market is a good fit. But as I said earlier, I don't have any numbers to back this up. It's just based on my observations when I live here. So I think more studies need to be done in order to see the impact on decentralized markets, energy markets in Indonesia or probably in ASEAN, and what are the good practices, what are the bad practices, what are the lessons learned that we can take from other areas that uses decentralized market. And yeah, it will be a very good discussion and research topic, definitely. And hopefully it will gain some insight for the policymakers to make a good thing out of it.
Okay, Michael, is that answering your question? Okay, I see a reaction here. Okay, I see someone asked the question about what do you think about a grant of technical assistance from USTDA about SMR? Is it beneficial for us? At the same time, I heard that one of the potential area is in Borneo.
So I assume the questions regarding nuclear energy, SMR means small modular reactors, which is type of reactors that are, as the name suggests, small and modular. It's small as the electrical output that it has is pretty small, around 300 megawatt electric. And modular means it can be built from factory. other than it has to be in situ, built in the site itself. I mean, having grant of technical assistance from USTDA definitely a good thing, because when we talk about nuclear energy, and this is I would say this is my expertise, Indonesia has never been an expert of nuclear power energy. I'm not saying nuclear as a whole, because Indonesia and BRIN has a very good acknowledgement from the world regarding what we can do as a nation in terms of nuclear. But in terms of nuclear power, we don't have any experience at all, even compared to some other foreign, some of our neighbors compared to them. So having the first experience of deploying nuclear energy is not easy, and we definitely need support from someone who has done it before. That might be including countries that have some experience on it, or even we can gain some partnership of it. But again, the goal is to maximize all of our potentials in terms of deployment of the new and renewable energy. Those include solar power, wind energy, hydropower energy, nuclear energy, and also we have to think about the storage, as Mr. Petelio briefly mentioned, like how we can deal with if we have some excess energy and how to manage it. Definitely, we need some storage method to deal with it. So yeah, regarding the potential area in Borneo, that has been the idea since, I believe, in like 2016 or 18, but it's still an idea. I personally don't know what happens since then, but yeah, we should welcome all types of technology that we can use to decarbonize our electrical system. Yeah.
Okay, I hope that's answering the question, the anonymous question. So, Mas Harun, I have one last question to be asked because we are running out of time in this webinar. So my question is, since we are in ASEAN, and what lessons can Indonesia learn from other ASEAN countries' experiences in pursuing or attaining the net zero emissions target?
Yeah, I think having some regional agreement together definitely will help, like the deployment of new and renewable energy, or carbon-free and renewable energy in Indonesia, especially because yeah, we really need those partnership. We really need some partnership from other countries in order to achieve this goal, even though this is our own target and we should be able to accomplish it by ourselves. But definitely partnering with some other countries, including our neighbors, will definitely be helpful on achieving it more efficiently. Those includes like exchanging some knowledge, exchanging some human resources, exchanging technologies. Definitely all those kind of things can be learned and relearned between our neighbors. So yeah, I think the partnership is the main thing that we need to foster in ASEAN.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Harun, for your answer. And before I end the session, I would like to summarize what you have been telling us on Indonesia's pathways to net zero. So what I can highlight from this, from your findings, is policy reinforcement is the primary issue that Indonesia must be faced if Indonesia wants to move towards in achieving their net zero target. At the same time, Indonesia, if the new policies is established very well and very comprehensive, it will be strengthened and also adapt with the new strategies, especially for the financial, technology, and also socio-economic aspect of the energy sector in Indonesia. Moreover, a good law to support the strategies is needed, such as to enhance the regulation or standardization about the technology adaptation in Indonesia, and also synchronizations of multiple stakeholders, as you said previously. So I want to underline that regional, national, and multi-regional partnerships is very, very crucial and important for Indonesia and other countries to achieve the global net zero targets and moving towards a net zero future in future years ahead. So I believe that's all from your presentation. And before I end the session, I would like to ask you for a closing statement to give to us.
Yeah, so definitely these are the start of some discussions of having some strategies on how to achieve net zero emission. This should be a starting point, in my opinion. We should talk more about this. As I said earlier, this should be a policy focus. This should be a forefront in the newspapers, in online media, and in all kinds of platforms. Having this, us as energy advocates, as renewable energy and new renewable carbon-free energy advocates, we need to get together hand in hand to push our elected officials to talk more about this, so that the people can notice and we can do something about it. Probably that's all that I can give today. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mas Harun, for your time to be involved in this first episode of ARNECC Paper Talks Net Zero series. And for the participants, I appreciate a lot your time to involve and participated, and also asking questions during the webinar time. So before we end the session, I would like to ask for your feedback on our workshop so we can improve the technical and other materials that you want to hear or share regarding the Net Zero series webinar of ARNECC Paper Talks. So this link will also be sent to your email right after this session. And please give your suggestions so we can improve our next webinar session. I'm Indira signing off. Thank you very much all for your participation for today, and have a nice day. Thank you very much, Mas Harun.
Thank you very much, Indira and ASEAN Center for Energy, for having me.
Okay, see you in
Thank you.
next occasion. Thank you, everyone.